And we're live.
We are here.
We are here. We are here.
Excited to be here.
Happy to be here, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the After School Special Club podcast. My name is Chris.
My name is Mary.
And this is your show for...
Fun.
For fun.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
We're not doing this for anything but fun.
No, we don't do anything in life if it's not fun.
No, we're hedonists.
Yeah, we're like
heathens.
We're heathens.
But this is your podcast for video games, entertainment, and stories from our stupid little lives. That's our tagline, and I said it this time.
You did. Congratulations. I'm sure they're very proud of you, the people that are listening. Let's have a round of applause. Wow.
Wow.
You can barely hear that.
Deafening.
There's nothing there. Thanks, guys.
Boo. Oh my God, Mary, how was your week?
Week is pretty good. I have been playing a lot of games this week, actually, which
Yeah.
I'll go into further a little bit later, maybe an hour from now.
Maybe 2 hours
maybe
from
after
now.
the podcast. I'm like, hey, Chris, these are the games I'm playing this week. But also, I've been really into space lately. Just the fact that it exists.
You've been in space.
It just exists, yeah. I was actually Tesla called me. Not
Directly.
Elon. Tesla, the car, called me and was like, hey, you want to go to space? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, how'd you know?
And they're like, good, that'll be $2 billion. And I'm like, I have that.
You're like, yeah, I have $2 billion. I have a podcast on the internet.
Yeah, I'm so famous. It's blowing up right now.
I'm extremely rich.
Yeah. But I've been really into like space, like researching it. And the asteroid that's coming
Oh, yeah.
this week, the 11th. I believe it's the 11th through the 12th.
Well, it's been nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, it's the size of a football stadium. And it's coming 2 million or 2.5 million light years from Earth, which it sounds very far away, but it's actually a hazardous asteroid. That's what they call it. So they
Wow.
classify it as in NASA as a hazardous.
Even from that distance.
Yes, because it's been here before. It's been here before, and it'll be here until the end of the world. It's the same asteroid. It just circles back and back, which all our asteroids do. There's I think like 100 or so like classified as dangerous asteroids, and this one is one of them. But anyway, I think it's so cool that they can map out when this asteroid's going to pass us and like know that it's like a safe distance. And they have this program I just learned about, which actually they landed a drone on an asteroid recently.
Whoa.
On the 24th, I believe. But it's called DART. That's like the DART.
Destroy asteroids really
right
tough.
today. Really tough asteroids.
Really destroy asteroids right now today.
I could be a NASA scientist.
Yeah.
I'm going with that. But I thought it was interesting because this program is actually it's the defense of Earth. Like it sounds like a movie or something.
Yeah.
But like the defense of Earth, they are seeing if they can send like a I don't know what it is, like a robot or something, or a ship vessel, and blast it into the asteroid to make it go like a little bit off.
Go away.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be like it's not gonna go really far. It's gonna go like a fraction,
Just
like,
enough to get it away.
Yes, just
Wow,
enough.
Math.
And it's like a 30-second. It takes it like it changes its distance for like 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So it's like billions of dollars to like
Just to
launch this thing at an asteroid, which is interesting because I think that's super interesting.
Yeah.
First off, because an asteroid could hit any day and we couldn't really do anything about it.
Right.
But it's cool how humans are like, no, let's do something about it. Let's
Anything
try to
to
do
keep
something.
this podcast going. That's what NASA's
That's
saying.
right.
They're like, we have to make sure that After School Special Club keeps going.
Because if it doesn't, then what are we going to do?
What is
are we
anyone
gonna do
living
with all our
for?
money? What are we going to do with all this space program stuff?
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't exist anymore.
Wow, that is actually really fascinating. And it is funny because I never think about that, but I'm like, surely there's like a defense program because like if something comes from space that could be dangerous to us,
Yeah.
they launch $30 million at it and it goes,
It goes, and then it just doesn't budge at all. And we're like, fuck.
we're like, well, shit.
We got 10 days. We got 10 days left.
We get like an alert on our phone.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is like, call me up. Like, no.
No, Bruce.
No, Bruce. Get back in your house.
Go inside and die like the rest of us.
Yeah. He's like, okay, I'll accept it.
10 days.
10 days.
Well, that is really interesting. I have not been doing anything that interesting. I have been playing video games, but that is, again, because of my ankle. I'm out of the boot, so that is on camera. My
Boot
foot.
free.
I'm wearing a brace. I can walk with minor pain, which is good. You guys, I damaged my soft tissue is what I learned this morning at my doctor's appointment. And here's my scientific PSA for you today. So soft tissue, that is your cartilage, your tendons, and ligaments,
tendies.
and your muscles. And probably other things. but that is soft tissue. Takes months up to a year to heal completely.
What?
When you damage it.
That's not so soft. That sounds hard.
That sounds hard. That's hard as fuck.
Yeah, that's not soft.
And so I did not tear or break anything, luckily.
That's good.
But she thinks my tendons and my muscles in my foot and ankle are just aggravated. So she was saying...
They're angry.
Yeah, they're angry.
They're just like upset.
I was like, I'm the one who's aggravated.
Yeah.
But she was saying that it will heal, that it's on the the path to healing correctly. It just takes a really long time. And a lot of people get alarmed, as I did, because you'll start off healing really fast, and that's getting through like the swelling in the initial stages. But then as the scar tissue is forming, it sort of like plateaus and you start healing very slowly, which is what happened to me. Because like a week ago, I was like, oh, I'm not getting any better. And I started worrying. So I went to my doctor again, and she was like, oh, that's normal. And I was like, oh.
That's interesting. It's almost like weight loss, you plateau as well.
Yeah.
Like your body is like, no, I'm good.
No.
I'm not going to do anymore. We're good here. And then it's like, no, you're really not.
It's really interesting too, like because I've been basically staying in bed to rest, I haven't been eating as much because I'm not working and I'm not exercising. So I don't have anything to use energy on.
Yeah.
So I've been just like eating way less, which is really interesting. And and it's not by choice. Like I'm just not hungry.
Yeah.
So it is interesting the way that your body sort of adapts to your environment, I guess.
Yeah. Your body's like, we don't need it as much.
So
stop.
Yeah, so if I look really slim.
Ooh, so
well, the
gaunt.
camera adds 10 pounds or whatever, right? So I mean, I probably look the same.
I want to look like gaunt.
I want to be ghostly.
Gaunt. Yeah. I'm like, you're looking gaunt today.
You're looking gaunt today. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's the broken ankle diet.
The broken. You try to coin it. And
where I only eat 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much been my week.
Yeah.
So I'm healing, which is the good news.
I'm glad that you're healing. I'm glad that it didn't get worse.
I'm not.
And the turn of events, Chris is not happy with his repairing ankle.
Well, guys, we do have a slew of topics for you today. The first thing I wanted to start off with was this leaked information that PlayStation is planning to unleash a subscription service similar to Xbox and their... what is it, Game Pass?
Yeah,
I'm like,
Pass.
what is it?
What
Xbox?
Is it? Xbox, the X Pass?
The X Pass?
Yeah.
So I pulled some information from an article here. So we have Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. He wrote, the service, codenamed Spartacus,
Love that.
hard-ass nickname, will allow PlayStation owners to pay a monthly fee for access to a catalog of modern and classic games. The offerings will likely be available on the smash hit PlayStation 4. Which has sold more than 116 million units.
Yeah,
which is insane.
PlayStation. Get it.
And the elusive successor, the PlayStation 5. I like these descriptions.
The one, it's like a personality.
Right?
It's like
the elusive PlayStation 5, which launched more than a year ago and is still difficult to buy due to supply chain issues.
And also scalpers.
But don't worry, guys. Mary and I have a PS5.
That's right. We do. Yeah.
Just
We're proud parents.
your episodic reminder.
Yeah, I mean, I love being a PS5 owner, as do you, Chris. I feel like, and it's good to own one. So you should own one.
You should try it sometime.
Yeah.
When it launches, the service will merge Sony's two existing subscription plans, Sony Plus PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, yeah, I was reading into this article as well because I was excited about it. I'm really excited about this because they had to do something to compete against the Game Pass, because that is such a great service.
Right.
And it's possibly one of the best services out there right now for gaming. And they had to do something to compete. But have you tried PlayStation Now?
No.
Okay.
I only have PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I had a PlayStation Plus, and then I decided, I'm just going to try PlayStation Now and see how it is, because I saw some games that you could play on it, and I got really excited. And I think I had it for like a week or two, like the free trial, and I wasn't really a fan of it.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't really into it because...
What didn't you like about it?
It was like, because I played the game Vampire, which it's a beautiful game. Like, it has a lot of like, I guess it looks good graphically. So I guess it takes a little bit more, and you stream it, essentially. So it'd be kind of like, I'd be playing and it would like shut off. And, like, it'd take me out of the game. It'd be like, sorry, can't connect to network. And then it like, more issues with that.
Yeah.
And there are some PS4 games that are downloadable on PS Now, but most of them you stream.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And I feel like, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And it just looked grainy, and like the quality wasn't really that good.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they combined it with PlayStation Plus and they did it in like a new direction, like a better direction,
Right.
I feel like it would be cool.
Yeah, because according to this article, they're going to, merge the two services and just keep it under the PlayStation Plus branding, which I think is really interesting. And it does make me wonder, like, what that'll look like in terms of playability of games. Like, if it's just going to be a streaming service or if it'll still be a download service or both. Like, if you have the option of just streaming or if, like, the pre-PlayStation 4 games, like the older generation games, will be stream only, and the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games will be for download.
Yeah,
I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, from what I understand, this information was leaked because the article did mention the people who provided this information, these Sony employees, couldn't be named. Like, they didn't want to be named. So that makes me think like this is leaked information.
Do you think they were like, Xbox is just rubbing it in that Game Pass like every week?
The people need to know.
People need to know.
We have an answer.
We need to give them a crumb. Let's give them a crumb. This is our
we
crumb.
got a crumb.
We got a crumb.
So it sounds like they're going to release this service next year at some point, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
I will definitely be. I mean, I already have a PlayStation Plus subscription, so I'm curious, like, if that'll just carry over and I'll automatically have access to this, or if you'll have to pay extra, maybe for streaming features.
I feel like you'll have to pay extra.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Nintendo situation with the N64, the emulator, or whatever, like the new old games. Like, you have to pay more for it, and everyone loved that extension.
See, I'm more willing for this, though, because my favorite game titles are PlayStation titles.
Yeah.
So I would be more willing to pay extra to get access to PlayStation 2 games, for example, because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah. Well, I think the people had an issue with it just because of the Animal Crossing thing, too.
Yeah.
It's like you get the DLC for a short amount of time. Like, what kind of... That's
Right.
weird. Like, if you stop the subscription, you don't get the DLC, but the DLC is only $24.99.
Right.
And the subscription's like $50 or $60, right? So, like... I don't know.
Yeah, a little weird business model in my opinion, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll be excited to hear more information in the future about this. But speaking of Animal Crossing, I have some updates about the Animal Crossing New Horizons, or should I say Nude Horizons.
Ooh, Nude Horizons.
Ooh, I wish I came up with that joke, but I didn't. So many different platforms are reporting that the Animal Crossing Happy Home, whatever it's called, DLC.
Yeah. Whatever it's literally called whatever it's called.
Whatever
DLC.
it's called, DLC. Yeah, that's the official title. The Happy Homes Paradise DLC. People are experiencing animals in the nude.
Nude.
At the cafe of all places.
What kind of cafe is that?
Right, and that is not food safe on my watch.
And not family safe.
Yeah.
On anyone's watch.
So some players have reported in one of the areas that you can unlock in the DLC, in the cafe, nudism. And I just think like that's it. Like, it's not even a news story, but I think it's hilarious. Like, I haven't experienced this. Like, I have the cafe and I'm not experiencing nude animals, unfortunately.
I love that random glitch though, or bug.
Right.
I guess it's a glitch.
Well, and I don't think that there's a patch for it yet. And this is like over a week old at this point, this news.
They're
and I
letting
think
them
it's
go.
hilarious.
They're letting them roam free.
Yeah, because I'm like, I haven't downloaded a patch for the DLC, and I've been playing Animal Crossing every day because of my injury.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't seen a fix for this, and I wish that I had this glitch, but I don't.
Is it a publicity stunt? Is it a
They
publicity
planted it.
stunt? Because they were trying to get Animal Cross lovers back after everyone stopped playing.
And so
the
now they
DLC
want
came out.
everyone to see.
The DLC, they're like, guess what is happening right now?
They want everyone to buy the DLC, and you have to wait. Like, you have to make 10 homes before you get a cafe, I think.
Oh.
Or 15 homes before you can make the cafe. So
earn
they
that maybe.
want people to download it and invest the time to see if they get the glitch. Welcome to our conspiracy podcast.
Yeah. Sex sells, as they say.
Yeah.
Even in Animal Crossing.
Even bestiality.
Nook is like, yes, give me more bells.
So I mean, and like, luckily it's innocuous. Like, obviously there's no like genitalia or anything.
Yeah, I looked up immediately. I was like, Google,
Yeah.
like that was the fastest Google I've done in a very long
Right.
time. I was like, oh, I want to see the
Yeah,
pictures.
the IGN article is great because it's just like a little bit of text and then just like a shit ton of like embedded videos and like tweets with people's experiences of it, and I think it's hilarious. So
It's really funny.
I mean I love shit like that. Like, bugs are usually funny, but that one is like top tier.
It's good because it's like a wholesome game, which like, it's still wholesome. They look like just teddy bear. They look like just stuffed animals.
Right.
Like, it's not like anything like that, but yeah, it's like a wholesome. When you see Nude and Animal Crossing together in a headline, you're like, what? Because those two do not go together
Right.
at all. But I thought they were cuter without clothes.
Honestly, same. I was like, we should get rid of the clothes.
I want an option. I want to have a nudist island.
Yeah, right?
Where
Why
we're all
not?
nude. Yeah, roaming free.
Yeah.
That's how God intended.
Exactly.
Me to be. Yeah. I'd be nude right now, but I don't. It's cold.
Right. Well, YouTube will demonetize us.
Yeah, and it's cold. So
yeah, it is
it's
pretty
too chilly to be naked.
Yeah. Even with these lights on, it's still pretty cold.
Do you think nudists have cold winters?
I mean, I guess it depends where you're a nudist.
Yeah, that sounds like a really bad boomer joke. Do you think nudists have bad winters?
I mean, I guess if your nudist colony's in like Florida, it's probably fine.
That's true, and it's Florida, so nobody bats an eye. They're
Right.
like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, moving on. So I want to talk about this article that you put in here. So this is a Gamer Rant article about Congress trying to shut down scalpers.
Yeah. I love the title of the act. It's like Grinch. What is it?
Stopping Grinch Bots Act.
Stopping Grinch Bots Act.
Just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this is good. I think it's good. Well, okay. I think it's good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like to see two sides of the coin with pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I definitely can see how affecting the free market is bad because you're kind of trying to control people and what they sell.
Right.
Even though that's supposed to be kind of like free terrain, especially like eBay, like things like that.
Right.
You should have the option to sell whatever you want.
Yeah.
And
as long as it's lawful.
Yeah. As long as it's not like an elephant tusk and or like a
dead
torpedo.
body.
Yeah.
Those three things.
Those three things. Torpedoes, dead bodies, and elephant
tusks.
tusks. It's the black market. That's all it is. But no, I feel like that's kind of not good. If it goes in that direction more, I would say that's like too much. But I really think that scalpers have become such an issue.
Right.
Like
they're really taking advantage of the rarity of, of goods. And I do think, like I completely agree with you. Like I think the very positive side of it is, cracking down on people who are taking advantage of it. Mm-hmm. But also I guess depending on how the law is written, right? Like I haven't looked at the specifications of the bill or anything, but there is like a concern that I have where it's like, well, depending on how it's worded, then, there is a sort of kind of shoddy, kind of like manipulative part where it's like, yeah, you're controlling the free market and like controlling what people can sell.
Yeah. It's like, where does it end? Like if you...
Right. What are the stipulations? Like what is, like where does the bill stop? Like at what point can they not control things?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess I feel like it'd be really hard to control, first off. It'd be very hard to control that online because it's gotten so big and so out of control at this point.
Right.
But I feel like, would they have to find the person guilty and then like persecute them? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Because from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's targeting like the bots, like not necessarily like individual people, but people who have set up like bots and like computer programs that essentially like run and search for like, let's say a PlayStation 5 and then buy them, which I know is a thing because I actually know somebody, one of my old coworkers did that. Like he got his new gen consoles because he just had like a bot essentially running in the background at all times. And like when it found something, he bought it. But he didn't do it like continuously. He's not scalping people. He was doing it for his own gain because he's like a very tech savvy person.
Yeah, beat them at their own game just to get one. Yeah,
just to get one. And
that's
that's great. Like it worked for him. And he's not using that technology for evil.
He's using the power for good.
Right.
For himself.
For self-serving, which is great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, because it looks like this bill is targeting those kinds of like programs and bots. But I do wonder, like, then like what is the course of action? Like, do you prosecute the person who created that technology? Or like, what does that look like?
Yeah, because it's also like, piracy, online piracy is technically illegal. But I know so many people and myself, like I've done piracy online
all the time.
Yeah.
Or I used to. I used to do it when I was like a big anime person and I would watch a ton of anime.
You'd be like, I need to see the next episode. You'd torrent it. But yeah,
because it's like piracy is so common that like even though it's illegal, I feel like it's so widespread that I'm like, you can't possibly do anything about it.
Yeah. And like I've never really seen anybody arrested for
like
downloading the episode of,
And they'll take down Pirate Bay, but it'll just come back as a different dot something.
Yeah. Pirates say.
Pirates say.
Yeah, pirates say.
Piratesay.org.
Yeah. They're like, all right, that's
They're
fine.
like, you know what? We'll let you have this one.
You got around it. No, but that is interesting. I wonder what it's going to look like, or even if they're going to approve it. I don't know.
Right. Because that's the thing is it hasn't been passed.
Yeah, it's still in infancy, so.
So it probably won't get passed.
No, but I like the idea of stopping those scalpers because, oh my God, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's really unfair. Like, I do feel really bad for people who just can't get their hands on new gen consoles because it's like they should be available to anybody. And like, I understand the supply chain issue, of course, you know, so it's like even more so, it's like I want there to be like that freedom for people to be able to get what is available and not have people hoarding it and then upselling it for ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Because it's just not fair.
No.
You know, and like, it's rough times.
It is rough times. Rough. R-U-F-F times. Here. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I'm wishful about it, but I just want to see what the actual act is before I give it my vote.
My vote. So the last bit of stuff that we have to talk about today is just about the Game Awards, which are happening this week. So by the time this episode comes up, we'll already know the results, but I think it'll be interesting to kind of talk over, like do a general overview of like the categories, the nominees, talk about what we think we want for Game of the Years, the different awards. And next week when we do our episode, I think it'll be interesting for us to reflect on who's won.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have the IGN article open in front of me. And so I guess I'll just kind of go down by category and we can kind of discuss the people or the games in each category and kind of talk about our thoughts. So, of course, the first one is Game of the Year. And so this category recognizes a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So the games nominated are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
See, I'm not surprised about Metroid Dread, and I'm definitely not surprised about Deathloop. Deathloop, I already knew like that was going to be nominated when it like started showing the trailers. I'm like, this is definitely like even the hype. Like there was so much hype. I was like, yeah, this game is going to be nominated. What surprises me is It Takes Two. Yeah. That surprises me because that's a game that it's been kind of under the radar. I know a lot of people like it and a lot of people have talked about it, but it's not as big as the other games, I feel like.
Right.
And it's cool. Like I like seeing a game like that being nominated.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So I have 2 points because I've seen, you know, I watch a lot of, you know, other game commentaries fairly regularly. And it seems like a lot of people share that sentiment of it's a very interesting game to be nominated because, first of all, it's multiplayer only. So you have to play with somebody else. And it is sort of niche in a way. And I feel that way about all of these games. So I've seen a lot of other people talk about it too, where it seems like a lot of these games are very niche. Like they're not appealing in a general sense. Because when you go down the list, like Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil, they're all sort of like very individual. Yeah,
there's like certain gamers that like those type of games. Like,
right.
Like not everyone's going to play Metroid, but the people that play Metroid love.
Right. And like, I don't like Metroid. I don't like platformers and I'm not good at them. So I don't have any enjoyment out of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, like Metroid, even Ratchet & Clank, like I like Ratchet & Clank, but I'm like, I don't gravitate towards platformy games typically. So it's like, those aren't really in my wheelhouse, but like Resident Evil Village, for example, I love Resident Evil and I love horror games. So that's kind of my second thing is like, I feel like a lot of these games are almost very niche, which makes it interesting when you're considering like Game of the Year and you're looking at popularized vote and you're looking at like something that is generally appealing to a large mass of people. So I mean, I think for myself, like for Game of the Year nomination, I think it's actually really tough to choose out of all of these. I want to say Resident Evil Village on my own bias. But I think from general, I think consensus and how I've been feeling people in my life and also like online, I feel like Deathloop is probably like gonna win.
Interesting. So
I don't know what you think.
Well, I think like the niche thing, definitely. I do think that they're very separated by what gamers their tastes in games are, and since it is a broad like general vote that it's gonna happen, I feel like they're gonna really have to boil it down to like how it mechanically is, like how the game feels, like the graphics, also like mechanics, the gameplay, everything like that. That's gonna be more important.
Yeah.
I feel like Metroid Dread's gonna win.
Yeah.
'Cause that game
I
is
feel
sound.
like Metroid or Deathloop, probably.
Yeah, because I think Metroid Dread, like, you know, watch videos, like I've watched people play it. It's just so mechanically sound. It's just a complete game. Like it's the sound design. Like it's so fluid. There's no like glitches, no anything like that. It's and Nintendo does this best. They're very consistent.
I will give them that.
Yeah. And I feel like not only did this game come out of nowhere, like people were surprised by it. They were like, "Oh my god, another 2D Metroid." Like that's insane. Like I didn't even expect this.
Right.
Even though it was rumored. And it just came out of nowhere and just blew people away, especially people that have been playing it for years.
Right.
And it introduced new players to it because it does look so fantastic.
Right.
And it's just a well-made sound game. So I feel like that's definitely going to win, possibly. For my own vote, though, honestly, I don't feel like Resident Evil Village, I feel like I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised that was nominated. Just because 7, I feel like, was a better game.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil Village is great, and I loved it, and I love playing it, and I love Resident Evil. But I also feel like it wasn't as a complete game, let's say, as other games on the list.
Yeah.
And I don't want Deathloop to win.
I don't.
I don't want Deathloop to win.
I didn't really get into Deathloop.
Yeah.
But I feel like in terms of popularity, Deathloop is probably gonna win. Or Metroid. I mean, that's the other thing is it's hard to gauge because, like I said, I feel like a lot of these games are very niche.
They are.
So it's hard to because I'm in certain like game communities, right? Like I'm not in I don't interact in a community of people who talk about like Metroid Dread. You know, so it's like I feel like I hear a lot about some of these games more than others. So it's like my public perception might be skewed.
Yeah.
But I feel like probably Deathloop, you know, or Metroid.
I mean, my game of the year was Kena, for sure.
I think Kena has other nominations.
It better.
I think
because
I actually don't.
That game,
I don't know.
That game is
maybe it doesn't.
Fantastic.
I don't see it.
That doesn't surprise me though.
Oh, it has. I found one. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So the next category is Best Game Direction. And so these are awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
I feel like out of those, I'm not surprised by any of those. I feel like the story in It Takes Two, like, is cinematic almost.
Yes.
So I feel like that's a shoo-in just because it is like a cinematic game. So it's easier to like, you know, direct it as such. And not easy per se, but like I feel like that goes in that vein of like directing and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I feel like
it's very unique.
Yes.
And I think also too, the impressive thing about It Takes Two is it's literally just a game of games.
Yeah.
Which is so impressive that they came up with so many creative and innovative like mini games almost.
Yeah.
Again, it's only multiplayer. There's no campaign. And yeah, like the story and the narrative of it is so well put together. I think for Best Game Direction, I would say It Takes Two.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't really have anything else to say about those ones though.
I feel like the other one though, like beside like if It Takes Two doesn't win, I feel like Ratchet and Clank might win because again that game I played a lot of it, probably about halfway through, honestly, but I do feel like the direction of that game and the flow of the story and just like the flow of the whole entire game is really well directed.
Yeah.
It's very cinematic, and I also feel like that could be an easy shoo-in as well.
Yeah. Cool. The next category is Best Narrative. So this is awarded for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in the game. And so we have Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange: True Colors, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2.
That's interesting. Life is Strange is nominated.
I also agree. I think it's interesting that Life is Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy are nominated for Best Narrative.
Yeah.
So I finished Guardians of the Galaxy, and I love it. I think it's a great game. However, I would not have nominated it compared to some of these other ones for narrative, because it does have a good narrative. And I think I mentioned this the last episode that I felt like they executed the narrative close to how like one of the movies would play out. It felt very much in line with that type of story progression, but I don't think that there was anything. I don't want to say unique, but I don't want to say that there's anything super impressive about the narrative of it. Personally, I thought it was very like run of the mill, like typical, like, oh, you know, here's our buildup. Oh, here's our conflict. Like, I did think it was a good narrative, but I don't know, especially compared to the other games in this category, I just think it pales in comparison.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, just from like watching you and like watching the trailers and watching the other videos, like I think I could agree with that.
Yeah.
The only game I've played on this list is Life is Strange. So I'm going to say Life is Strange. It's going to win. Because
I feel like I would say It Takes Two or Psychonauts. Now, I haven't played the new Psychonauts, but I do hear that, you know, much like the first game, the narrative is extremely well done.
Yeah, I've always been wanting to play I always want to play the first one. And watching the hype and people get so excited about the second one makes me want to invest and play it and then play the second one.
Yeah.
Because it looks really good.
Yeah, so I would say probably Psychonauts or It Takes Two for narrative. And just in terms of like creativity and also impact of the narrative, because I think that they're both very emotional.
Yeah, especially It Takes Two. I mean, that's some heavy
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
So I would say one of those two for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say Life is Strange because I played it, but It Takes Two.
Yeah.
So I think.
Cool. The next category is the best art direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So Deathloop, Kena, Psychonauts, Ratchet & Clank, The Artful Escape. Kena. I would say Kena.
Kena.
I would say Kena or Artful Escape. Artful Escape is breathtakingly beautiful. It's a really, really great visual game. But I would say in terms of art direction, probably Kena.
Yeah, the environments. Like
The environments, the animations.
Yeah, just going like from each level because it is a shorter game, so you don't really explore much.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the places you visit are in like this village and it's central to the village. But I feel like the music, the way that like it blends in with the environment. The environment is just so intertwined with the story. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And the ending, like I'm not gonna say what the ending is, it moved me so much. I had to watch it like 2-3 times just because it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it felt so artistic and like just like an expression of beauty.
Right.
That's what that game reminds me of. Just like an expression of beauty and of nature and like
Right.
And I definitely felt emotionally pulled in, not only because it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, but I feel like just the direction of the art was just so well done.
Yeah, and I think too, like there's definitely a large conversation that we could have about game designers being from other industries in entertainment, because obviously I think Kena is really well known for being made by I think it's Ember Lab, right? And they're a group of animators that worked in film animation, not game animation. And so I think that, you know, there's a really good conversation to be had about incorporating more people who are really skillful from other industries in entertainment, because look at like what it can bring to gaming.
Yeah.
You know, and you could say the same thing for like music, right? Like not hiring people who specifically work on film or like video game scores, but hiring people who work on film scores, or like Japanese Breakfast did the music for Stable, and they're a band, you know what I mean? Like,
and I also I watched the Radiohead, like the concert, the exhibit or whatever they were going to do.
which is free.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome. Like it was very like trippy, and as you're going through it, like listening to the music, and yeah, like obviously they wanted to do an exhibit in person, but because of COVID and everything, they decided to do it this other way, like through video games.
Right, which is really innovative.
Yeah, and I feel like Ember Labs also really liked it because they were like, wow, we weren't expecting like this like much appreciation and this much love for this game. That's great. And they're like, Sony's happy because they made a lot of money.
Right, because they're like, haha, my wallet.
So they're actually thinking of making more games now.
Right.
And I'm
Which
really
I would be
excited about that.
so down for.
Yeah, super excited about that.
So moving on, we have best score / music. Speaking of music, so this is for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtracks. So Cyberpunk 2077, Deathloop, Nier Replicant, Guardians of the Galaxy, Artful Escape.
What? Kina's not even nominated? Oh, man. That's a letdown.
I think it's funny that, again, Guardians is nominated because it's literally all just licensed songs from the 80s.
It's like a Spotify playlist.
Right.
Like,
so it's like, I think it's, and that's the whole like shtick of Guardians, right? But it's just like, it's not like, I feel like it's not creative because that's like what's expected. Like they didn't make that game going, oh, we're going to put like licensed like 80s rock music in this game and it's going to be so different. It's like, no, like that's part of the shtick of Guardians and of Peter Quill. And
exactly.
So I'm just like, it does have a really good soundtrack.
But it's just because it's licensed music.
But it's just because it's all fucking bangers from the 80s. So I'm just like, I'm like, okay.
It's like, that's not really, Because, I mean, you could just take an action scene and put like a 80s rock song over it and be like, look badass and feels badass.
Right.
But
like, it would be different if they did that for like a new video game. Where it's like, maybe you have like a cyberpunk type video game and it has like a cool like rock music like opening. Like, that would be different, but I'm like, that's the point. Like, that's part of the shtick of Guardians. So I'm like, I didn't feel like that needed to be nominated. But
also, Deathloop. I mean, I know it's supposed to be like a 70s like
jazzy,
funk, jazzy kind of stuff, music to it. But I feel like I'm just so surprised Keena's not nominated. I think the way that game incorporated the music with the fighting and also like just the environment was so well done.
Yeah.
And I played with the headphones on as well, and it was just
so you were in there.
It was moving, emotionally moving listening to it. But yeah, I guess I
would say Cyberpunk or Nier.
I would say Nier. Nier is like, that soundtrack's beautiful.
Yeah, Nier is like whoop.
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk's music, I mean, like the music in Cyberpunk was dope and it was very fitting and it was cool that they got all of these artists and made like the music for like the radio stations. But yeah, I'm always going to say Nier, especially, and I think about it this way too, like of all of these soundtracks, I still listen to Nier. And I've been listening to the Nier Replicant soundtrack since the OG game came out, like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's composed beautifully.
Yeah, Okabe and fucking, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous. I think.
So I would say Nier, and then my next one would be Cyberpunk. In terms of like how well the score and the music fit the game and was incorporated into the game.
I would say emotionally Kina, and then physically Nier.
On the list, Mary.
Yeah, no, in my heart it's on the list. It wins.
In my heart of hearts.
Yeah.
So next is best audio design. So recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. So Deathloop.
Is it nominated for everything?
Yes.
Can we stop this loop?
Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil, and Returnal. I personally would say Resident Evil or Returnal in terms of sound design.
Yeah, I would say Resident Evil for me.
Yeah. Because
it fits the mood. And
they get that mood.
Yeah, they get it.
They get me in the mood.
Yeah, they get me in the mood to be scared.
Yeah.
And I shit my
and
pants.
I do.
I shit my pants.
I shit my pants every time.
Every time I play Resident Evil Village, I need a diaper on because I shit my pants. That wins.
Oh my gosh. There's a lot of categories. Should I go through all of them or should I just kind of skip some of them?
Just skip. Yeah, skip. Do the interesting one. Do the juicy ones.
Okay.
It's like the Academy Awards.
I'll skip down to best indie game.
Okay, yeah.
So for outstanding creative and technical achievement in game made outside the traditional publisher system, 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Kena, Inscription, and Loop Hero.
You know what I'm going to say. Like, Kena's going to.
I would say Kena or Inscription.
Yeah, Inscription seemed really
Inscription
really cool.
is very it's very well put together for an indie game, and the narrative of it's very impressive the way that it rolls out, and like you go into it. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know anything about Inscription, you go into it thinking like, oh, it's just like a virtual card game that's very atmospheric, but you learn there's just more to it.
There's layers to it.
There's layers.
Yeah.
So I would say personally Inscription or Kena.
Yeah, I would say Kena. And that's it.
And that's it. And that's that.
That's it.
See ya.
It's done.
Let's see. Yeah, I might not go through the rest of these because it's like by genre. So it's like best action game, best action adventure, best RPG, best fighting, best family.
Deathloop.
Best sports game, Deathloop.
Yeah.
Best sim strategy game, Deathloop. Best multiplayer game, Deathloop. Content creator of the year, Deathloop.
Yep.
Best esport athlete, Deathloop.
Yeah, he is the best. Deathloop.
Best esports game, Deathloop. Most anticipated game, Deathloop.
Yeah.
No, most anticipated game actually I think is interesting.
Game of the year for next year, Deathloop.
Deathloop.
Yeah.
Okay, so most anticipated games we have Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Breath of the Wild sequel, and Starfield. Which this is actually
great.
a really hard list to choose something from.
I would immediately Elden Ring for me.
I think I'm gonna say God of War. I'm very like God of War and Elden Ring are like contentious for me.
Yeah.
For my number one.
Now I could see why, but Elden Ring just looks so different from everything that's been made to this point. I feel like it's gonna.
I must just spill
the coffee cup almost just fell over.
In case you're just listening.
Yeah. I feel like it's gonna spawn a new generation of like people that make video games and they're inspired by Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And I think And like Dark Souls, like From Software has already inspired people.
Oh
like,
yeah,
Dark
Souls games are like,
yeah, so influential. But I feel like this is the next step. They keep going. They keep like
this is gonna be so like game designers now are like, oh, I was inspired by Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Game designers in the future are gonna be like Elden Ring.
Elden Ring was it. That was it for me.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I decided to go into games because of Elden Ring. I could easily see that. Yeah.
People born in 2000 are 21 now. They can drink.
Oh man, that's another topic.
Sorry to bring the mood down.
Yeah, whenever anybody's like, "Oh yeah, just see the 1 on your ID and you're good," I'm like,
"Oh, I'm old." Woo.
Yeah.
And that's it for categories. So obviously we'll already know who won after this episode goes up, but I'll be interesting. I'll try.
You will be interesting. Yeah.
I'll try my best to be interesting. I will be interested when we record at the end of this week for next week's episode after the Game Awards.
I'm just gonna be wearing like Kina merch next week, just like all things, like a hat like Kina, and be like, they
you
didn't
have a
even
flag.
win. Yeah. I'm like, they didn't win, but they won in my heart.
They won in my heart, so that means they won.
Yeah.
All the awards.
I gotta show some love for them.
Yeah.
Nobody else did.
Best esports game, Kina.
Yeah. All those little rocks running around. Yeah. It's interesting.
So yeah, that was that on that. So I guess we still have like 20 minutes. So let's talk about what we've been playing this past week.
Yeah, it's a shocker actually for me, but Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, I was not shocked, but I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to say that when you were like, I've been playing Castlevania. I was like, huh?
Yeah, no, I was not expecting. It was like $5 on the PlayStation deals, the Black Friday deals. And it was like a combo. So comes Symphony of the Night with Rondo of Blood. And Rondo of the Blood's like the one right before it. But I skipped straight to Symphony of the Night because it is an RPG. At the heart, it is an RPG. And I love RPGs.
Right.
But this RPG is a very difficult RPG,
Yes.
more than I'm used to. And it is like a, Metroidvania.
Right. It's that classic, like, very hard RPG.
Yeah. So like this is the game that actually like spawned the Metroidvania. The Vania part of it is like from the Symphony of the Night. And it is incredibly hard. And I got really frustrated. And I've tried to play it before, like on the original hardware and on the PS5. But I tried playing the original hardware. And that's actually like usually how I like to experience retro games is on the original hardware.
Yeah.
Because you get that feel. And I feel like I'm earning my keep. I feel like I'm earning my star, like my gold star.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh, another gold star.
Yeah, you played it on the original hardware. You're a gamer. Yeah. But so I've been playing PS5.
Boo Mary.
Yeah. Let me hear it. Ooh, it's music to my ears. But I feel like playing on the PS5 is adding to it because of the sense controllers, like the dual sense, like because it vibrates and like it feels good to hold the controller and play. And I feel like that actually adds to the experience for me and makes it easier to play and more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Being able to like feel when I like kill somebody or, Also the music is gorgeous. The music is amazing. You should definitely listen to the soundtrack for this.
Yeah. You're like, if anything.
It's incredible. Because each like room you go to can have different music and it has the feel to it. Like you go to the library and it's playing like Baroque music, like classical Baroque music. And there's like skeletons walking around with like their head just like in their hands and like they're like, ha! Like stab you. And I'm like, oh, these guys are easy every time. Oh, they're not. They're not easy. And it's actually making me feel more confident as a gamer. Yeah. Because it is a hard game.
If you can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah. And it's not the hardest Castlevania. Like, it is one of the easier Castlevanias. So I guess it's one that you could step into as like the intro one or the entry level Castlevania. But just like playing it, I'm enjoying it because I'm getting better. Like, I died so many times right away. Like, I kept dying. And I was like, I'm just going to give up. This game's too hard. I just can't play it. And I've given up on a lot of games because it's too difficult. Yeah. And this is actually one of them. Like I said, I tried previously playing it and I was like, what's the point of playing this? It's too hard. But playing it now and like leveling up and like getting to the point where I've gone back to fighting creatures that were hard and now it takes me like 2 hits. It's so satisfying.
Yeah, I love that.
Like it's amazing. And I love it. I just think the game is incredible. Like I'm finally realizing why people have such a fandom for this game. It's incredible.
Maybe I'll download it. I say as I've already downloaded like 4 games to my PS5 that I own. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, because I've been on leave because of my injuries, so I like queued up a bunch of games, spent like $150, in total. And now I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Maybe more is
And
good.
my games are like, no.
Oh, play me first.
Because, yeah, I've always been interested in it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, and I think this Castlevania of all the Castlevanias is the one Castlevania. Castlevania, I have to say it over and over again. This is the one to play, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because also the music. Yeah, I think you would really enjoy the music.
You know I'm a slut for music. Music soundtracks.
Music
Video game
slut.
soundtracks.
Yeah.
You slut.
You slut for music, but I feel like it's really good. And I played it right before I came here, and I want to play it like so badly. And you know, a game when you like can't wait to get home to play.
Yeah, it's
like,
that one.
Yeah, that's always the best games, and it's so surprising because I was not expecting that. I was expecting me to buy it, regret it, and be like,
you're like, well, I was like, it was only $5.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I was like, I love this game.
And that's it.
Yeah, let's see if I can beat it. If I can beat it, that's gonna be the gold star for me. If I can beat it.
Yeah. I had a similar experience this week because I bought Solar Ash because speaking of being a slut, I'm a slut for games that Annapurna publishes. And so I downloaded Solar Ash and oh my fucking God, like it took me so long to get the controls to the point, and like I had to like change the mapping of some of the controls because like, first of all, they put dash as R2.
Oh.
And I'm just like, and then I like that you have like this like slow time function as circle. And I was like, nobody maps dash to like the L and R. Like you map dash to circle.
Yeah.
Usually. Or to one of the shape buttons. So I had to remap that, especially because coming out of playing Guardians where dash is circle, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I had to remap my controls and then just, I think I'm bad at it because I'm not good at platformers. And this game relies on like gliding.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that as like one of the main things about the game, right? And
it's too, in my opinion, it's too loose because it's very easy to over glide.
Is it like like rhythm games, you're on like a track essentially, and like you know, not necessarily like the button rhythm games, but like ones that you're like a person, like a, walking around. Like, is it like you're in like a tube essentially, or is it like open world?
It's open, like, open world. Because it's not like Pathless where it's like you gain speed by picking up the like globs. I forget what they are, but they're like emblems or something. And and as you pick them up, you speed up to move around. It's not like that. So it's just like you glide around, but it's so smooth. Like it's very smooth. I'll give them that. It's very well animated, but it's so smooth that like it's very easy to overglide. So I've fallen a lot, which is annoying because you don't die. So it's like if I get to the top of something and I fall off, it's very frustrating. So I have to go all the way back around and go back up.
Is it teaching you something though? Maybe they wanted to teach you something.
No, because I'm just frustrated. So because it's just like it's very glidey. It's very easy to overglide. Like I feel like there could be a little more friction in the controls.
Even like watching the gameplay footage, it looked loose.
Yeah,
like I haven't played it.
Loose. And it took me I died so many times doing the first boss because like I would glide and then I would like land on a part of the boss that just kills you instantly because it's like I meant to land in one spot, but then I kept gliding. And the thing is, I'm not good at like continuous, like that, like the continuous, like you pick up momentum and just keep going.
Yeah.
I'm a very like stop and go, like apprehensive, like I like having control. So I think that's why I suffer with it because it's very contrary to all of the games that I do play and that I'm good at. So I think, it took me like an hour or so to actually get into the controls. But it's just like I had to put it down because I was just so frustrated from my experience. So I'll probably go back and keep playing it more. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a very short game.
Yeah.
But it does seem very linear and like very like just like cut and dry. So, I mean, it should be pretty easy to get further in. But I don't know if I will because I'm kind of turned off on it.
It's interesting how we both this week played games that we don't normally play.
Yeah. And died a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, So yeah, I mean, that's what I've been playing this week. I don't remember if the last time we recorded, if I had finished Guardians yet, but I finished Guardians of the Galaxy recently. I don't remember if I talked about that.
I think you did.
I talked about playing it. I don't remember if I finished it last time, but
I remember because I didn't want it spoiled.
That's right. And so I was like giving things away.
You're like the guy did the thing, and then the broad.
And you're like,
that's too much information. There's a guy.
There's a dude.
There's a what?
What?
But yeah.
So I might see if I might start playing something else because I'm not so sure that I'm. Yeah.
I beat Kina.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I talked about it briefly when I said the ending made me cry because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like it because at the end of the game, you can go back and they put you at the last, I guess, save point or like the last like place you can like fast travel. So you can literally just collect everything that you missed.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. And with everything that you already have. And my rots, they're still there, all of them. And then I see the number, I can collect 100. And I think now I have like 70. I was like, I need to find them all. So that's what I'm doing. And the game is so enjoyable. I just love being there. Like, not, I guess, there physically, but I feel like I'm there when I'm playing it. Yeah. And it's so soothing and relaxing. Yeah, it's just a beautiful game. And I just want to keep going there.
Yeah.
In that world because it's beautiful. Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Guardians. Like, they give you a new game plus, and I was like, man, I was so close to having, like, collecting everything. I'm like, I want to go back and see if I can get all the outfits. And I want to go back and see if I can get, there's, like, specific items that relate to, like, to each character's, like, narrative and backstory that you can get. So I'm like, I want to see if I can find more of those.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because it's just a very fun game to play. I like it a lot. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, it seems fun. Also, the soundtrack adds to the fun, I feel like.
But I also might just say fuck it and play Final Fantasy 9 again because it's been a long time.
Yeah. You got to go back every once in a while.
And I have my PS2.
That's right.
I just need to get adapters for the cables because none of my TVs, all my TVs are HDMI only now.
Oh, yeah.
Sign of the times.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, because I have my original, I have the 4 discs. Because that's the other thing is like I've played it on Switch and I've played it on PS4. But I'm like, it's not the same because you don't have to swap out the discs.
Yeah, I miss that screen, seeing that screen, like, put in disc 2.
But I will say the nice thing about it is, like, because those re-release versions gives you the options to, like, speed through it, which I used to be, like, staunchly against because I'm like, well, the experience is, like, grinding and playing. But I realized I'm like, well, Final Fantasy 9 has such a good narrative that I'm like, I almost want to just, like, hit the level 99 button and just, like, not have to worry about grinding, collecting, doing any of that, and just play through it for the story and the characters.
Yeah, and that game is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I could see why. Maybe I could do that because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, you don't have time like you used to be able to, like, spend, like, 100, 200 hours in a game and grind and get level 99. Like maybe when you were in high school or like grade school and like all you had to do is go to school and then when you got home you could just play games all day.
I'm like, I don't have the time anymore to grind in video games.
Yeah. So yeah, I also was staunchly against people just speeding through. But I will say though, like Final Fantasy 7, like I still can't get behind like speeding through that.
Yeah.
Because that game is like the Final Fantasy everyone talks about. It's like the stone.
The cornerstone.
The cornerstone of it.
Yeah, it kind of depends because like I do, on one hand, I'm like, I do like the experience of grinding, but it's like, I don't have the time. So it's like for Final Fantasy 9, I would not mind using those buffs.
Yeah.
Because I do like Final Fantasy 9. I love the narrative the most out of every part of it.
Yeah.
I also just like, I like the design of it, like the menus and the little icons and like.
It's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Great characters.
I do feel like the last time, because I played it on Switch, is the last time I played it all the way through. Also, I like being able to take pictures, like screenshots. Yeah. Like, that's cool. You couldn't do that in the original hardware.
Oh, yeah. And that's funny because you could, like, name your character something funny and then take screenshots of it.
Yeah. But I feel like I did use a cheat, and it was a way to, like, I grinded, so I still, like, did grinding in the game, but it took me so long to, like, I was like, fine, I'm going to use one cheat. I'm going to give myself this one thing because I don't have this amount of time to do it.
Right.
So I went to I forget the city name of it, but it's like the one that's like kind of underwater grotto or like
the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
But starts with a D. Daguerro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dagaru.
Something like that.
Yes. But you can go up on the top of it and then like go out in the world and there's a dragon that's on like the plateau or that mountaintop.
Yeah.
And I just like did the cheat where I just like kept speeding and I was like, I did the dragon and then I leveled up so much in a short amount of time because the speed of it which I was doing, like
it didn't take, because those battles take a while.
Yeah.
So I did that with Final Fantasy 8 because I played 8 on Switch for the first time, and that's how I grinded. I went to Cactuar Island, did that, but I did like the 3 times speed, so I could just keep doing it really like a lot really fast. I do like that cheat code.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you still grind, but it doesn't take as long.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think the other ones that I know Final Fantasy 9 and I think all the other ones have is like level 99 or like the 9,999 damage 1 hit.
Yeah.
And there might be other ones, but those are the ones that I remember. So, or like I know no encounters is one when you're on the map.
Yeah, which is nice. Sometimes you just want to turn it off. You're like, all right.
Yeah, or you're like, I'm just trying to go from point A to point B.
Yeah, because I there are times when I'm like, is this glitching? Because it's literally every step. I remember when I played on the original, like on PS1, there was a time where like I think I saved it and then I was going somewhere. I think it was the mage, like where the mage village is, and like the brush.
My favorite.
Yeah, but every step I took, there was a fight.
Yep.
Like it was, I was like, this isn't programmed to do it to work like this, because literally every step, I'm like,
No, seriously, and I remember like as a kid too, even with that happening, and it just getting to a point where like I got so tired of seeing that transition screen into battle. I was just like, if I see another screen rotate, and blur into battle, I'm gonna scream.
Yeah.
But that was part of the experience.
That was part of the experience. I'm glad we had it though.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think that's it. We've done 56 minutes and 12 seconds.
I love the exact.
I'm reading the...
Oh, yeah.
That's why I like using the monitor and like reading the notes on my computer, because then I can see the time. That's
right. We're all just a slave to time.
We are a slave to time.
Yeah.
Father time.
And to end on
Daddy
that.
time.
Father, dad time.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening. As always, if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us on Spotify and iTunes and anywhere podcasts are available. You can also watch us on YouTube, or my suggestion is always do both. Mute the video and listen to us on iTunes so that we can get our listens up.
Yeah, we want them up, guys. Raise them up. Raise them up.
Leave a comment, too, on iTunes. Someone left a really nice comment a long time ago, and I'm craving more. I'm craving your validation.
That person, come back and rate another one.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. All right, well, it's been fun.
It's been fun. Bye.
Bye.